Wow. Now, Leslie uncovered some devastating news during the course of her investigation. Take a look.
During the course of my investigation, my sources alerted me to a horrific story that just broke. A boy named Brian, who recently turned 16, died of an apparent drug overdose. And while we don't know exactly what drugs were to blame for his death, I did connect with one of his friends who witnessed Brian's drug use on Snapchat. Brian's fatal day reportedly started with him snorting Benadryl. So walk me through what you saw that day with your friend.
I saw on Snapchat that they got Benadryl and they call him Benny D, and they would crush him up and snort him.
It's not broadcast to everybody, right?
No, there's a way to select which friends that can see the private story that they post.
You first saw him in the morning snorting Benadryl. Then what happened?
On Snapchat, he was drinking, and then he did illegal drugs.
We heard that he passed after all of these events. How does that make you feel?
It's really sad. I feel really bad for the mom. It's just terrible what happened. I don't want to lose any more friends to this.
Next, I spoke to Brian's mother. Allison, I can't thank you enough for joining me in what must be the most difficult time in your life. And I'm so sorry.
Thank you for helping me with this message.
I noticed that you still have your bracelet on from the hospital where your son was admitted into the emergency room. That's how fresh this is.
Yes, it is.
So how did you find out about him overdosing?
I always try to call him and check in. A kid answered the phone and said, "Are you Brian's mom?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Where's Brian?" And he said, "He's passed out on the bed." He gave me the address of where they were. I got there and walked in, saw my son laying on the bed. He was blue. He was blue. His mouth was open and his eyes rolled back in his head. And he appeared to me that he was dead. And I started grabbing him and just screaming, "Brian, Brian, please," and just shaking his chest. I was screaming, "Call 911, call 911. And they got there and took over. And then I hear, "We have a rhythm." And I thought, oh my God, there's a rhythm. Okay, and then a few seconds go by, we have a pulse. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
What happened next?
Due to the lack of oxygen to his brain for so long, he's been clinically declared brain dead on September 25th at 9:24 a.m. And it's the most horrible thing for any mother to have to go through.
But before we spoke, neither you nor authorities were aware that a friend saw him snorting Benadryl on social media earlier that day.
I just heard of this TikTok challenge with Benny D's, and Brian has paid the ultimate price. These kids need to know. You spend $15 on over-the-counter Benadryl, and now you're dead. Now you're dead. Nobody's life is worth this challenge.
What is your message to other parents?
Be aware of what you have in your home, and there's laws that need to be changed as far as kids getting these over-the-counter things. Now that they know that this is happening, TikTok needs to go, Snapchat needs to go. All that stuff is nothing but evil for our kids.
Thank you for having the courage to share your story and draw awareness to this.
Thank you for having me. God bless all of you. And hug your children tonight. And tell them that you love them.